If you're buying oats, there's a good chance you're making the meal most commonly associated with them, the aptly named oatmeal. Or maybe you'll venture a bit farther and use them in cookies. But oats can do and be so much more. These little cereal grains are very inexpensive, highly nutritious, and widely available. Today I'm going to show you 5 easy uses for oats beyond oatmeal, plus we'll clear up any confusion you might have about all the different varieties of oats. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And today we are diving into the world of oats. Now, I'm sure you've had oatmeal at some point in your life, and maybe even an oat cookie, but oats can do a lot more than, well, just make that porridge or those baked goods, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But for just a little bit of background, you might be wondering what oats even are, and oats are a cereal grain, similar to wheat. But the great thing about oats, if you are gluten intolerant or need to be on a gluten-free diet like me, is that oats are gluten-free. Now there is a little bit of an asterisk to that statement because I should say that oats are naturally gluten-free, but if you are on a very strict gluten-free diet, let's say you have celiac disease, well, you're going to want to make sure you buy oats that are specifically labeled gluten-free. That's because these other oats, well, they're often processed with wheat products, so that means there might be traces of wheat and thus gluten in some of these products. So if you are gluten-free and you need to be on a very strict gluten-free diet, make sure you're buying oats that are labeled gluten-free. Now, if you've ever shopped for oats, you've probably noticed that there's actually a surprising variety of them on the aisle, and it can be a little bit confusing. But there are 4 main types of oats that you're going to see in the store. So there's old-fashioned oats, there's steel-cut oats, there's quick oats, and then there is instant oatmeal. We'll get into each type, but something you should know is that they're all derived from these. These are called oat groats, and they're sort of like wheat berries. This is basically the whole oat, except for that outer husk that's been taken out. And you can actually cook these, but they do take a long time. It takes almost an hour to cook these, but these guys, these are the entire oat groats. Now, these can be a little challenging to find in the store. I did find these in the bulk section of my local Winco. So if you have like a bulk section or a natural food store, you might find those there, or you can always order them online. But these are kind of oats in their most natural form. These are called oat groats. And all the other varieties of oats are, well, made from these guys right here. So steel-cut oats look like this, and they look, well, almost similar to those oat groats. And all steel-cut oats are oat groats that have been taken and cut with, yes, steel cutters. So that's why they're called steel-cut oats. And you can see that they're about maybe 2 or 3 times smaller than those oat groats. These, they take a little time to cook as well. These can take about 20 or 30 minutes because they are a denser, larger product. Steel-cut oats are also known as Irish oats. So if you see that wording, just know it's the same thing as steel-cut oats. Next, we have old-fashioned oats, which are also known as rolled oats, and they're these large flakes. And old-fashioned or rolled oats are simply oat groats that have been steamed and then rolled on huge presses, and that's why they are called rolled oats. Now, you might have noticed that I said these are steamed, and well, that means that these are pretty much essentially cooked. So if you're ever wondering if you can just eat these old-fashioned oats raw, you sure can, because they're not really raw. They've actually been steamed, so you can eat these as is, and of course cook them as well in applications such as oatmeal and the ones that we'll get into here in a minute. Next, we have quick cooking oats. These are sometimes called minute oats. And as you can see, they look very similar to old-fashioned oats. And basically they've been rolled to a thinner consistency. And that means that they cook quicker because, well, they're just, smaller in nature. But these are what minute oats are, simply rolled oats that have been rolled thinner. And then finally, there's these guys here, these instant oats, and well, these are smaller still. These have been rolled, cooked, and dried so that, well, they are the fastest cooking of the bunch. All you need to do is just add some hot water and you have instant oatmeal. Now, you'll find these with a lot of different flavors and sometimes sugar added. So, if you want something that's a really quick breakfast that is flavored, these are a good choice. They're really not my favorite because I find the texture kind of gummy. But if you're in a hurry, well, that's what instant oatmeal is all about. So those are the major types of oats. Hope that clears up some confusion. Now let's talk about all the things you can do with oats. Now for these applications, I'm primarily going to be using traditional rolled oats, but the 1 minute oats can also work for them as well. This is actually the closest to oatmeal. In fact, I think of it as super oatmeal. My version of muesli is simply old-fashioned oats with the addition of lots of goodies, including dried fruits, shredded coconut, and nuts or seeds like pepitas. Also known as Swiss oatmeal, muesli is often soaked in milk and refrigerated overnight. My version I make in the morning, and it's as easy as boiling water. I simply put the ingredients in a heat-proof bowl, add boiling water, and cover. After about 10 minutes, everything is absorbed and perfect. This is the easiest muesli you'll ever make. Oats are great in savory applications too, and meatloaf may be the finest example. I add oats to my mixture of ground meat or meats, along with eggs, onion, spices, and Parmesan cheese. By using oats instead of, say, breadcrumbs, you get a gluten-free version. But like breadcrumbs, the oats help act as a binder and a nutrient-dense filler that makes the meat go farther. Mix everything well. Put it into the loaf pan of your choice, and if you want, slather on some ketchup. All you have to do then is pop it into an oven and cook until it reaches about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. When done, you'll have delicious meatloaf that has helped your budget go farther because you are using oats along with the meat. Remember how I said you can eat old-fashioned oats quote-unquote raw because they aren't actually raw? That means you can add them to something like a protein shake as is. I did a whole video on my inexpensive homemade protein shake, but for a summary, mine uses non-dairy milk, protein powder, nut butter, a banana, chia seeds, and oats for a filling, super nutritious protein shake that cost way less than that bottled stuff. I do recommend using a powerful blender for this, and you will get a superb product. A shake isn't the only beverage you can make with oats. Homemade oat milk is a cinch to make at home and another drink that costs way less than bottled oat milk at the store. To make, I simply soak 1 cup of oats in 4 cups of purified water for at least 10 minutes. From there, dump it into a powerful blender. And here's where you can tailor it to your taste. You can add ingredients like cinnamon, maple syrup, or a bit of sugar. Now just blend the heck out of it until the oats and water are totally mixed. For a finer texture, I recommend straining through a fine sieve. You've just made oat milk for pennies. Refrigerate up to 5 days in a sealed container and be sure to give everything a good stir before using. Finally, here's another oat-derived ingredient you can make yourself and save a bundle of money on: oat flour. Once again, a high-speed blender like a Blendtec or Vitamix will work best for this, but I've still had luck with a lesser powered one. Simply put the dried oats in a clean, dry blender jar and blend it high speed until you get a powder-like consistency. You've just made your own oat flour. From here, you can use it in a similar manner as you might wheat flour. Two of my favorite applications are blending it with cornmeal and gluten-free flour to make cornbread. Oat flour yields super fluffy results. You might also remember our episode on gruel, in which we boiled oat flour in water to make a porridge similar to cream of wheat, but with gluten-free oat flour. So there you go. Those are 5 other uses for oats. If you've got a box of these things in the pantry, well, now you know that it can do a lot more than make oatmeal or simply bake cookies. But now I want to hear from you. What is your favorite oat-based recipe? Do you make oat bars or homemade granola? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, before we get to trivia time, a little show and tell. Some lovely stainless steel cookware I purchased recently. We'll start with the older one. This is a thrifted stainless steel loaf pan. This is an old Revereware. I found this at the thrift store recently and I absolutely love it. This is what we baked that meatloaf in. Of course, you can also make bread. I've made a wonderful oat loaf in this. Wonderful stainless steel loaf pan. I've been looking for one of these and well, providence happened when I found it at the thrift store. Another thing I'd been looking for was a stainless steel square baking pan, and well, I was able to purchase this one at one of those all-clad factory sales that they run online. I did a whole video on one of those that I'll link to in the description below, but lovely tri-ply pan. I've been using this for cornbread. You know, I've got plans to use it for a lot of other things, but just a really cool stainless steel square pan here. You might remember I did a video on my favorite type of cookware material, and that's stainless steel. I think it really is a great material for most people. It cleans up nicely, it's shiny, and well, it basically lasts forever if you treat it right. And I'm happy to add these guys to my collection. Okay, trivia time. Last week I asked you to identify this guy. Yes, another thrift store find. I found this at a Goodwill in Vermont last week. And well, we came to the conclusion that this is some sort of pie dish. Either for serving pie or even putting a slice of pizza in it. Really cool piece of cookware that I'd never seen something like it before. Congratulations to everybody who correctly identified this as some sort of pie dish. Okay, for this week's culinary trivia, I literally had to back the camera up for it. Oh my gosh, look what I got in the produce aisle, and it's giving me quite the workout. What is this thing? If you know what this thing is, it weighs about 20 pounds, or have a guess, put it in the comments below. And you know what? I think next week we'll cook with this thing, so be sure to stay tuned for that. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.